Bang, bang. What's going on, guys? You're tuned to another exciting edition of the main event on Talkin Hands. So I'm your host, Preston, joined by my co-host, Mr. Danny Betts. We're here to break down this week's main event, I guess, because the fight's actually on a Friday in Saudi Arabia between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou. As always, before we break down the upcoming fight, we'd love to recap the fights that were. We're going to start with the fight we did recap last week. And round one, I knew the fight was over for Rhea Abe as he gets decimated by Luis Alberto Lopez. Lopez ends up getting the stoppage in round eight.
Yeah.
Okay. And I knew Abe didn't keep his hands up. And then he had literally zero power, zero pop to any punches. So once that happened, which is kind of what we discussed last week, once we figured that was going to happen, it was only a matter of time before Lopez got him out of there. Danny, quick thoughts on Lopez's performance versus Abe. Then, of course, we'll get to the Odebek Ford fight, which is also very good.
Yeah, it's domination. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Dixon, Andrew G, both on the beat. TG, what's up, guys? Domination by Lopez, man. It's one of those, and I kind of jinxed it too on the stream, if you remember. It's one of those fights that went down exactly how I thought, and somehow I still don't cash my bet. I had around 1-6 plus 700. I got greedy. I didn't even play the KO. But that fight was going. I knew it was gonna be a beat down early. They should have stopped it earlier. I'm not even being biased towards my bet. It was like, that eye was closed.
Yeah, in between round 2 and 3.
Yeah, they were checking it every time.
Yeah, that's when, because I was talking with Jeff and Big Show a little bit during the fight, and I was like, yeah, man, I really think Danny's going to hit this because this guy looks like toast. And then the doctor was like, tell him in English, can he see? Then I think it was around 5 or 6, it seemed like they weren't going to stop it. And then round 8, when it happened, Lopez just came out like a ball of fire. And
he should have did that before. But honestly, they should have stopped it because that eye was shut, bro. And plus, like, not being racist or anything like that. Like, he's got small eyes already, and that thing was early. I think it happened in the end of round 1, so it's just gonna get worse. Like, they go in and ice it for like a couple, 10, 15 seconds, and that's it. But it is what it is. I had my best nights in boxing. Like, I won like 22 units. I hit a parlay, $10 won me like almost 600. That Ford fight was insane. That was a great fight. Shout out to Odebek, but we'll get to that in a second. But Lopez domination. For him to get that burst to finish that fight, he was talking about the crowd. If you heard the crowd, they were chanting and rooting for him. So he got real, hyped and wanted to finish for the fans. So big things for him, man. He's fun to watch, man. It's crazy how the way he fights, all the different angles and leaping and literally jumping off his feet. Like, he's exciting to watch for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot better of a performance compared to Wade versus Joaquin Gonzalez. But yeah, I guess more disappointed in Abe, but is what it is. Hopefully Lopez gets a bigger and better fight. And Dixon, no worries here. It's a very good co-main event as well, which we'll talk about as well. Now we're going to get to what was the main event for that night. Odebek took on Raymond Ford. Very close, dicey fight. Raymond Ford ends up getting the knockout in round 12. 7 seconds left. First off, Danny, did you think the stoppage was just? I did see some talk on X regarding the stoppage, and then just thoughts on the fight as a whole.
Crazy fight, dude. Like, it was one of those, like, that whole card was great, actually. They had a lot of good fights on that card, man. But that fight had me on my couch. Like, I was standing up. Like, just watching it, grabbing a beer, coming back while just watching it. They were going back and forth early. It was Odebek, early rounds. I want to say like round 5, which is crazy because every fight is the same for him. He's good the first round, 4 rounds. Then round 5, 6, he starts slowing down a little bit, and then he picks it back up. And Ford, I tweeted it out. I'm like, Ford looks like he's taking over this fight. It was mid-fight. I bet it again. It was plus 250. They were going back and forth. And then Odebek had a late surge, like round 10, I think it was, round 11. I think in round 11, they had a headbutt, and Ford had that bad cut on his cheek. And I'm like, oh, shit, this is where in my head, well, I was talking to myself, honestly, in the living room. I'm like, this is where you got to take that dog out. I was literally talking to him, like, I don't know if you can hear me, bro. Because some people get cut. I don't know if he has been cut in his career, but they start panicking. You got bloody face, championship fight, last round. The kid dug in. I think it was a good stoppage. He took over. He hurt him multiple times during that fight with these counters, man. It was like 3 times he kept hurting him. Actually, in the last round, Ford knocked him down. It should have been a knockdown. He got held up by the ropes.
Yeah.
But, went down, got back up, and that's when he attacked him again. And he was just hurt. He was hurt bad. You could tell his legs were gone. And he, like, when he got hit with that last hook, he, like, ran off to the corner, turned his back. You cannot do that, especially when you're hurt multiple times in the round. And he hit the ropes, and Ford was right behind him, like this, or right in his face. And that's when the ref stepped in. I have no issue with it. I think, obviously it was 7 seconds left. I think that's what the big issue is, and I get it. But you cannot do that. Like, you can't run to the corner with your, back towards the opponent, hurt multiple times in that round. And that's just my opinion, but it is what it is. Besides that fight was fucking crazy. That was one of the better fights. It reminds me of the Foster versus Hernandez fight, kind of, comeback fight. He needed a knockout.
Yeah.
Foster got the last round. He was down. In my scorecards, I had Odebek up 2 rounds. So if he would have had that knockout, I thought that round 12 was a 10-8 regardless, so it would have been a draw, in my opinion.
Yeah. I had it either 7-4 or 6-5 for Odebek because I was in the same ballpark as you. Round 4 looked like Ford was taking over, and then things kind of Odebek kind of got a surge back. The one issue, not an issue, I guess, but Timothy Bradley's commentary was pretty biased.
It's always, bro. Both of them. We knew this. Is a top ranked guy. His first fight at top rank. What they're gonna do, like try to do. But afterwards, and I hate it because Bradley always does this. He'll be biased the whole fight, and then at the end he'll give credit to Ford, like if he was calling it for him. Like, in a way, It's like, I was, you were doing great throughout the fight. We were saying this and this and that. I'm like, bro, like, come on.
Yeah. But the one thing I will say, and I did mention this to the guys, was if they were to do a rematch, I would feel way more comfortable with Ford knowing that he has the power to hurt him and he'll let his hands go. He didn't let his hands go until that really 12th round. He hit him pretty good, like you said, round 5 or 6, but really that end, he picked it up.
Yeah. Well, the coaches, bro, if you heard the coaches with the adjustment, because you have to, those type of fighters, and we're going to get to that pretty soon with one of my bets I already put out there, you have to bully the bully. Like, Odebek is a power puncher boxer that likes to go forward, but going backwards is a different story, and they found that out. And he even said it, Ford's like, I feel him draining, and I'm going to get the knockout late. Like, every time he was going forward and countering and throwing his shots, Odebek didn't know what to do. And plus, going backwards is going to make you more tired.
Yeah. Nasty Nate in the chat. Big Bang Jang. Okay. Originally, he had Whaley. Whaley's fighting at UFC 300. And then, completely agree. Andrew G. Dude turned his back and ran away. Do y'all think the cut started... hurt him maybe?
That he lost that round. It was round 11. You could tell it affected him a little bit. But again, shout out to his coaches because like after round 11, they will come up again. Like, this is it. Like, this is round 12. This is for the championship. It's do or die. He literally told me we need that dog. We need that dog that we know, and he brought it out. I mean, that fight got me goosebumps. It's like the Foster fight. Like, these fights lately's been nuts.
Yeah, overall, fantastic performance by Raymond Ford, and really a good performance by Odebek. Like we said, I didn't really know too much about him going into the fight, and he definitely impressed me with what happened. So that was the fights last week. Now we're going to give you the fight I'm sure everyone here is eagerly anticipating. Anthony Joshua is taking on Francis Ngannou. Before we break that down, we got to go over the odds. Current odds at our favorite book, mybookie.ag. Guys, please could enter promo code PUBSPORTS. 50% deposit bonus match credit debit. 100% Bitcoin. Use the Bitcoin. Current odds have Anthony Joshua as the minus 450 favorite. Come back on Francis Ngannou plus 350. Round props over under is set at 5.5 juice to the over. Fight goes the decision plus 310. Joshua by KO minus 200. Francis by KO plus 400. Joshua decision plus 400. Francis decision all the way at plus 1,500. Danny, Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. Early initial thoughts on this fight. Does Ngannou pull off the upset? Well, it wasn't an upset because he lost, but does he impress as well as he did last fight versus Tyson Fury, or does Anthony Joshua get him out of there?
Again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Nice to name my boy. Everybody in there. Big show. I saw you earlier, Dixon and everybody. Dad, father, TG. I know you guys been waiting for this fight. Yeah, I'm excited. Francis Ngannou versus Joshua. And if you've been following me a lot, I've been like a Joshua hater for a while. I want to say ever since like a fight after he got knocked out by Ruiz, he literally knocked out the dog and Joshua. So we'll see. But in Joshua's last fight, man, he showed me a lot actually. He changed trainers, and I actually saw a little bit of that dog in him again. Mind you, though, it was against a guy that he fought before in the amateurs and he sparred with a lot. So, that could be part of it. But just looking at his skill set in that fight, he did look good. Like, I saw glimpses like from back in the day. Francis, I mean, we all know he fought Fury. Surprised a lot of people. You could tell Fury did not take him serious. Because, you could tell he is flabby and stuff, but he look at the pictures when he was getting ready for Usyk, and then look at the pictures when he was getting for Francis. Like, big difference.
Yeah.
I think Fury won by 2 rounds. He outboxed him. I think a lot of people are just like surprised at how well Francis did. So they're trying to scream robbery and thinking that he won. He coasted in the later rounds, which screwed him in my scorecards officially for me. But yeah, I mean, Francis definitely has the power. We all know that. Dude can knock out an elephant. Like, dude hits hard as shit. And here, the things that I saw from the last fight with Joshua, I think Francis is going to be in trouble here. I had the over in the last fight versus Fury and Ngannou. That was an easy catcher. And it was 5.5. Same thing here. But it's almost minus 94, 95, I think it is.
Yeah, it's definitely getting juiced even more and more.
It's nuts. So I was on the over for sure. That was easy, obviously. But believe it or not, man, I know people probably is going to be surprised, but the way I see this fight, it might be a little slow in the beginning because Joshua's going to be cautious of the power from Francis. But he's going to stick and move, stick that jab out there, clinch, use his weight, try to bully him a little bit. Because his Francis' cardio did look good in the last fight, but it's because Fury really like got gunshot for like a lot of rounds. Like, he was just doing like little jabs here and there. If Joshua does fight like he did the last fight, comes forward a little bit, picks his spots, just constant pressure, but smart pressure, I think he could tire him out and get him out of here late. I know Francis Ngannou is durable as hell, like, but I could definitely see him getting hurt late and being tired and being a TKO type of finish in this fight. I'm not messing with the over-under, obviously, in that price, but I do on FanDuel, they got round 6 to 10 for Joshua at plus 370, and I love that. So I'm gonna throw a unit on that. I think he could get a late TKO finish here, and the ref waves it off against the ropes. Um, but yeah, somebody TG said AJ chin really sus to me. Yeah, definitely for sure, man. Especially with anybody's chin is suspect against Francis, man. That's how hard he hits, man.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Hey, as a fan or a hater, I would love to see Ngannou knock out Joshua. But betting wise, for this price, I gotta go with Joshua around 6 to 10 at plus 370 because when people zig, you zag, and I was on the over. A lot of people thought it was gonna be an early night, and now a lot of people are on the opposite side. A lot of people are playing decisions, props, and things like that, and I could definitely see that. But I think Joshua's gonna have a good game plan here. And remember, Francis was a question mark. Nobody knew anything about him when it came to boxing. Now you have 10 rounds to study, to see his movements, to see how he sets up his jab or his hooks or whatever. You can tape study and adjust like that. Fury didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be huge, and I think they're going to make the right adjustments and maybe get him out of there. So plus 370, I'm in.
Yeah, so it is a 10-round fight. It's not a 12-round fight, so that does – I do see a lot of – because I was leaning the Joshua decision, just like kind of what people in the chat are sort of talking about. To start off, I'll go over Dixon's plays. I know Dixon asked what we think of them, so we'll go from 1 to 6. First play, Francis by points decision, plus 2,000. I think it's going to be very tough for Francis to win rounds against Anthony Joshua. What's good with Anthony Joshua in the Otto Volland fight was he was jabbing to the body and hurting him. So I think that's going to be a tough for him. He could knock him down. I don't know if he's going to win minutes into rounds. Bet to Francis points plus both knockdown plus 11,000. That's wild. That is crazy. Could it happen? It could. Bet 3, Joshua knocked down 2+ times. I don't know if he would get back up if he got knocked down twice. I think he would stay down. Plus 1,800, though.
That's another thing. Yeah, when you bet that, you're assuming Joshua's going to get up the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, the way Ngannou hits early is like he's going to put your lights out.
Bet 4, Francis knocked down plus win by points plus 6,500. I don't think that would. The one bet 6 I can see. Bet 5, Joshua knocked down Francis by points 3,000. Because bet 6 is what happened with the Fury fight. So
right.
Fury got knocked down. He won by points. And I do think Joshua will be the minute winner in this fight and can win by decision. Or I don't fault Danny with his late round props. Because I don't think I think if Ngannou is I don't think he's stupid where he's going to come out guns blazing to come for his head and try to get knocked down. So I definitely think Joshua will clinch him up, jab him, and really go to the body. That's an interesting bet. TG, guys have 125. AJ2 not scoring knockdown plus 200. What do you think?
I don't mind that. Because like I said, I think it's going to be like a TKO type, no knockdown.
I was going to say that kind of goes with your bet too, to an extent, where he could really beat him up to the body, and then Francis could retire on the stool, which is what happened with Otto against Joshua. Corner didn't send him out for round 5. I don't think Otto got knocked down that fight, now that I think of it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's getting beat up, though, pretty good. And like I said, what I really liked, because I rewatched the Joshua fight today, was Joshua was going to the body a lot.
The body, yep.
And then he was getting him over the top. What Fury was doing well versus Francis was near the end of the fight, Francis, we saw him tiring out. He was intercepting those hooks, just straight shots. If Joshua's doing that, I know a lot of Francis or UFC guys want Francis to win. He's not going to win if he's really laboring those big, heavy hooks. Because Joshua, the one thing I give Joshua credit for and how he bounced back versus Ruiz was the jab. He went right back to the jab, stuck the jab, And granted, they weren't highlight fights. He did win those fights with just off the strength of the jab. So I don't mind that prop look at all. TG and yeah, for sure, Dixon. I don't think you're going to put 1,000 bucks on a plus
Yeah,
11,000 prop. And
those
yeah,
numbers are so big that you just can sprinkle, here and there.
yeah, TG makes a good point there. Francis has never been wobbled, and then obviously UFC, you're wearing much smaller gloves. There are at least 10-ounce gloves, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Joshua has power, but he's not like a lethal knockout artist. So uh, definitely, definitely don't mind it. Matt kind of just pretty much what we just said there. Can't see Ngannou getting knocked out with boxing gloves, which yeah, I don't disagree at all here. And Dixon saying we should see the interview with Dewey Cooper. Dewey Cooper is with Ngannou and True Jordy. He dropped some gems. Definitely worth a watch. He promised Francis
You
will
you never
KO.
want to hear that.
Yeah,
If you're on the Francis side, you never want to hear that. I can tell you that, like straight up.
yeah. Francis can't go for broke early. If he goes for broke, because the gas tank advantage is going to be Joshua. Francis goes for broke. Joshua's going to pick him apart, and right into what Danny said, round 6 to 10, stop him late. Uh, really, it's extremely square, and we can touch on the co-main event now. What I was probably going to lean with for best bet was going to be Big Bang and Joshua Parlay. It's minus like 150, 157, because I think Big Bang will beat Joseph Parker. Dan, do you have thoughts on that fight? We can kind of briefly discuss that.
Um,
Joseph Parker versus Big Bang Jang.
yeah, I do. Zhang, we were both wrong on him. We picked Joyce twice.
Yeah,
Zhang
Joyce is dead. Yeah, Joyce is done.
knocked
Joyce
him
is
out twice
yeah.
in a row. Zhang, 40 years old, power puncher. Thing with him though, all his KOs in the first 6 rounds. After 6th round, he gasses, man. He gets tired. Never been finished though, so he's tough. Parker, we just saw him have a great performance against Wilder. Was looking great, like movement wise. He was
Yeah.
talking about one thing he was talking about was overcoming all his injuries. He finally got some surgeries and things done and felt like 100%. And we saw it. Like, just looking at his skill set, forget Wilder. Wilder looked like trash. But looking at his movement and everything and picking his spots, he looked great. And people are going to do that boxing math. Oh, Joyce knocked Parker out in the 10th round. Zhang's going to, Zhang beat Joyce twice. So this is easy money. I don't think so. I'm actually on the Parker side. Styles makes fights. The head movement of Parker is going to be big trouble for Zhang's slow ass feet. As long as he survives early, like I said, first 6 rounds, and I might bet this live. I bet Joseph Parker by decision plus 350, 1 unit. But I'm gonna also look for a live bet because, like I said, he's all his knockouts. Zhang's knockouts are around 1 to 6. After that, he gasses. So I'm gonna look at round 5, see if they're offering like who knows, like if he's losing almost every round, being cautious and shit like that. Plus 600, plus 700, just money line. I might throw another unit on Parker because I think after round 5, he's gonna start taking over, picking his spots, outboxing the shit out of Zhang in the second half of this fight, and winning a close decision. That's the way I see this fight going. But if he dies, he dies in the first 6 rounds. But 32 years old versus 40. It is heavyweight though, so heavyweight is different. Like their power lasts longer. Crazy shit happens heavyweight class. You know what I mean? But I gotta go with Parker, man. I'm fading it. I'm fading him again. I don't give a shit.
It's just. I guess it was more so Joe Joyce looking poor than I guess Big Bang looking like excellent. Because Joe Joyce, kind of same thing that happened with Deontay Wilder in the fight for Joseph Parker, didn't move his head. Like just refused to move his head. Just kept getting hit with that 1-2 over and over and over. And Big Bang has the power to put your lights out. Parker, I didn't really factor that in as much as I probably should with what TG's saying here with the chin, because that is something that when your chin goes, it goes, and at least with Joseph Parker, it hasn't really gone. I know Joe Joyce stopped him late, but that was also a few years ago, and Parker looked good. He looked very good against Deontay Wilder. Is that more so Wilder looking poor or Parker stepping up? Now, this fight, I think, is going to prove that. I think it's a very good fight, very competitive
Mm-hmm.
matchup. I could see, I could see it going a lot of different ways. So maybe I'll hold off on that super square Joshua Big Bang parlay because I hate saying it. I think Joshua's going to smoke Francis, unfortunately. But
I do think that's a good parlay piece, to be honest.
yeah,
Joshua, money
yeah,
line.
I because what people see is what we said pretty much directly after the fight versus Fury was what people were saying. Oh, he just beat the best boxer ever. He's going to
Right.
kill this guy. And then you see the odds minus 500. But then, as we discussed, Tyson Fury did not care about the fight, didn't come in prepared at all. And there is tape now. So there's 10 rounds of tape on uh, Francis Ngannou in boxing. Yeah,
Um,
Dixon. Well, it is different, though. It's, the MMA to boxing.
you gotta end
Uh,
up like your profile pic. Who was it that asked? Dixon. He was saying Parker a good money line parlay piece. I wouldn't say that. I mean, he's the underdog. If you want to throw him in there, I do have a fun parlay. I like putting all my bets or some of my bets on a crazy parlay. I got Parker decision, Joshua round 6 to 10, and Nick Ball round 7 to 12. It's like plus 1,800 or something like that. So or more, something like that. Actually, crazy odds. $10 will win you like 1,300.
oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going
That,
for it. Going for it all.
yeah. Yeah, that is a wild, wild bet. Yeah, Danny, if you want to touch on, because I'll be honest, I didn't look at the Ray Vargas Nick Ball fight. If you'd like to
Yeah.
touch on that, feel free.
Yeah, I posted it on my Twitter. Shout out to you guys for coming in here because I didn't even post my bets for those other two fights. We're trying to get people to join the show. So shout out to you guys for joining, where you could catch us with our bets because the line moves. Like that one example, Berlanga, we gave
Yep.
out KO plus 220. That thing went down to like plus 120 real quick. So things like that. So tune in every Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern. But yeah, Nick Ball versus Vargas for the championship. And he's gonna be on this card. It's a great fight. Nick Ball is undersized, smaller kid. He's a rolling ball. Like the dude's a tank. And he's fighting Ray Vargas, Mexican, lanky, tall, really like tall for the weight class. He just fought Oshaki Foster, going up a weight class to try to beat Foster for his belt, but he lost. So he's coming back down to defend the belt against Nick Ball. Nick Ball just fought Dogbo, and we know Isaac Dogbo is a tough guy that fights a lot of good competition. Tough dude, and Ball looked good. Won by UNAM. And I think this is like his styles because I was looking at some of the fights again to refresh my memory, and I remember me and P had Ray Vargas versus Maxeo, and that fight was closer than I thought. And he won. Vargas won, but Maxeo was catching him a lot. And one thing that's in common in almost every fight that I saw with the Foster fight, with the Maxeo fight, with this other fight that I don't remember the name of the opponent, but everybody was catching Vargas with the right hand, like left and right. He's been dropped 4 times in his career, but nobody's finished him. I think Nick Ball might have a chance. Nick Ball is smaller. When you fight a smaller guy like that, you have to punch down. It's harder. Your power goes down when you're punching down like that. And Nick Ball might not be the Mexican in this fight, but he damn sure does fight like a Mexican. He's going to go straight forward, throws a lot of volume. Ray Vargas is more of a back foot. I'll box you, throw the jab. things like that. The thing I hate about Vargas is that he leaves that chin up there every time, especially when he lunges in with his right hand, and that's why he gets caught. And another thing I like about Ball is his power carries. He has two or three KOs in the 12th round, which is crazy to me. And that was all. He's only got 2 or 3 12 rounders, so like that lets you know his cardio is great. He throws a lot of volume. Yeah, Dixon, like Nick, we keep running the ball. We keep the ball rolling. That's literally him. Like he keeps going. Like volume wise, he's gotta have more volume, more power. Also too, his promotion is on his card, so he's backed by the promoters here in Saudi Arabia. Like there's just too many advantages in my eyes. I got on my minus 178 on FanDuel. Go run and get that line because everywhere else is minus 188, minus 198. That shit is gonna keep going up. I like Ball in this one. I got around 7 to 12 at plus 500 for half a unit, and his money line I put like 5.5 units, I think, almost to win 4. That's my best bet of the week, Nick Ball. I like him a lot. I think he's gonna fuck him up. Honestly, I think Vargas will have success early with the boxing and the reach, but once that ball keeps rolling, it's over. In my opinion, I think he'll be the first one to knock him out later rounds.
Yeah, I remember watching the Nick Ball's last fight versus Dogba, but I'd have to refresh a little bit just to see how he looks, and then. Obviously, Ray Vargas, I do recall.
Dogbo had some success. He was talking about, because I think he got caught in around second.
Yeah.
And Ball was like, I needed that. He didn't get dropped. He just got caught with a good shot. He's like, I needed that because I wanted to know. I know Dogbo's been there with the best, and I want to know if I could take the best punches. And he's like, I didn't feel anything, so I was good. It surprised me, got me off balance, but I wasn't hurt. And like after that, he took over and pretty won a UNAM. He just outworked them pretty much. Like, Dogbo could be tricky.
Kevin, fights are Friday, so not Saturday. Friday, going into Saturday. Saturday is the big UFC card. So
yes,
perfect. Hopefully the fights are by the time everyone gets off work. That's definitely a worry, but I feel like it should be on around 4, 5, 6 p.m. At least, right?
Friday.
For what? For the Francis fight.
Yeah, I think they got it listed around that time, like 5, 6. So it depends, but you know how they'll milk it in between fights, like.
Yeah. They were bad. For God, I forgot the one.
Yeah, that was horrible.
We were I know what fight you're talking about. It was like an hour and a half. I'm like, let's get this party started.
I'm with you, Dixon.
TG under 1.5 knockdowns. Francis versus Joshua minus 120. Think that is good. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I think
I like that too.
I think maybe there's one knockdown total. Could be either side, but I don't mind that at all. I think Francis has the chin to hold up, and I like what Danny said earlier with late round finish for Anthony Joshua. So that looks like a good bet. Dixon putting some UFC in there. Benoit Saint Denis is going to smoke Poirier sub 2-3 sprinkles.
Dixon, I took 3-4. I posted it earlier. I think it was plus 750, and then separately, I think it was 1,200 for 3 and 2,100 for 4. Let's get this cash, Dixon. Saint Denis time, baby.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like that's pretty crazy for Poirier to be like +1, whatever he is.
He's getting smoked, bro.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. I'd have to watch, like the Saint Denis guy some more because I don't.
Dude, he's a killer. He's a killer. I jumped on him. I didn't even bet him straight. I got him at minus 172, and I parlayed him with I can't say his name. Alamasak, whatever. He's fighting the prelims against Vargas.
Yeah.
I got it at almost even money as minus 102. That's what I did.
Yeah. Andrew G.
Yep.
DP.
He's talking about
it. Yeah, I mean he was a bad loss to what's his face, Gaethje. Yeah, it was a bad loss. to Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, TG. I'm horrible with names, especially those type of names, bro.
Yeah, no shot. Uh, Before we get into best bets, if you guys could leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new. Looks like we got quite a few people here. Give us a subscribe. Comment down below your best bets for these fights. A lot of good ones this weekend. Hell, even throw in some UFC if you want to throw in some UFC. We don't mind that at all. Consider joining the Weeby Pub and Gold membership. $10 a month each week, twice a week, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays or Wednesdays and Fridays on the Jimmy the Bag Show. It's a horse race. Winner of the horse race gets $50 USD. So please consider joining the Weeby Pub and Gold membership. TG, we can touch on that. Danny, do you have thoughts on Jack Della Maddalena versus Gilbert Burns?
Yeah, JDM's got a piece up Burns. Fan wise, I love Burns. I love JDM. When it comes to betting, I throw that shit out the window. Like on the feet, JDM he's fucking great. His boxing is nice, bro. He digs into that body. Don't be surprised if Burns gets knocked out in round 2, man. Like I think, and I understand the grappling and stuff like that, but he's not like a big time wrestler. Like, and I think JDM would also get up anyways, in my opinion, do enough. And he's been training with oh my God, who's the legend? BJJ legend. I forget, but trust me, he's been preparing for that shit. Of course, when you're fighting Burns, a world-class BJJ champion, I think he pisses him up, bro. 10 years younger, like, there's just too much stuff, man. I think JDM, I bet him money line minus 125. So, yeah, I'm on it.
Yeah,
Craig Jones. Thank you, Dixon.
Yep. Yeah, I don't mind that at all either. I'd have to see. I don't even know who Gilbert Burns last fought. I remember him getting knocked out by Usman. Like, it's I really couldn't tell you.
I know he fought Magny, he fought Wonderboy, he fought who was the last one he fought? I forgot.
Yeah, so I'd have to look into that. But yeah, I don't mind JDM there at all. We could get into, I think Danny kind of already spoiled the part of his best bet a little bit earlier, but I'll let Danny go first there. Danny, best bet on basically anything because we touched on a lot of things.
Yeah, Nick Ball. I like Nick Ball a lot. Yes, money line. If you just want to take, I took him around a 7-12 plus 500. I definitely like that. I think that's live. I threw a half a unit on that, but my biggest bet of this weekend. Is it this weekend? No, well, it's close. For boxing is Nick Ball. UFC, I mean, if you seen my my Twitter, I had that parlay with Saint Denis, and try this again. Oh, where's that?
Oh, Asu whatever.
Alamabayev. There you go.
Yeah.
I think I killed it in that one. I had that parlay, almost even money. I like JDM minus 125. Now that's up to like minus 170, I think. Who else? Oh, and Song Yadong plus money. That's an auto bet for me. I'm sorry. Even if it's against Peter Yan, it is a good test for him. But I have to bet my boy. Like, he's been making me a lot of money, and at plus money, I think he's just improving. And 3 rounds too against a slow starter in Peter Yan. So. Next week, I love this. I'm a spoil it a little bit. Next week, there's this underdog I really love. Like, I'm thinking of making this a max bet. Don't tell anybody though, but his name's Danny. You look it up next week in UFC. Underdog bet. I'm gonna at least have 250 on there, 5 units, or I'm debating if I'm gonna put a whole $400 on it, my 8-unit bomber, but I love that. I love that fight. So we'll see.
Yeah, I looked up. Yeah, that guy's a pretty decent underdog. So
yeah,
I know the guy he's fighting is more of a stand-up guy. So I'd have to look up.
He's a dog, bro. Okay, we're gonna talk about it. Fuck it, Danny Silva. One of the best fights I've seen on Contender Series. against Pacheco. I had money on Pacheco, and I knew Silva was good, but this dude, bro, he showed me so much. Like he was piecing Pacheco up, hurt him multiple times, went through adversity. He has got his black belt. He's training with Cub Swanson and them in that gym. He's training with Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner beat Kulabau by a second round knockout. So you're getting that information and those tips from Jalen Turner. And you're giving me plus 164 against Kulabau that got lucky. If you saw that fight with Medic was whooping his ass. Hurt him in the first round. Second round, he threw a leg kick, tripped because he got jabbed at the same time by Kulabau. And Kulabau ran, snatched his back up, and got a sub. Kulabau has never had a takedown in his whole UFC career. So this is going to be a standing fight, and you're giving me plus 164 against a guy named Danny, obviously. Don't bet against Danny's. Like Danny Bardo. And you're giving me a stand-up fight with a better boxer that digs to the fucking body, and he's Mexican, and he goes forward and throws crazy kicks and has a black belt? I don't get it. I just don't get it. That's just me. Me personally. We'll see. I told myself this year, if I see an underdog that I love like this one, don't hesitate. Just go for it. I'd rather lose with my own, tape study, information, whatever I think, than not bet it and be correct and lose.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just, I have to.
Yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing with me too. It's easy to not take the underdog, because everyone wants to do the favorites. So I'll have to look.
I could keep going if you want. Kulabau went to a draw with Jourdain, which was not a draw. Jourdain whipped his ass for 2 rounds. Who he beat besides Medic? And if you watch that fight, he was losing that fight till he got lucky. He ain't beat nobody else. He went through a split with that's another fight he could have lost. Shit, I forget his name. But he hasn't beat nobody in the UFC. Like I'm telling you, Silva's a killer, bro. He's a killer.
Yeah, Dirty Reg likes Kulabau.
Oh, right. Hey, dude, that's what I'm saying. If you, so I'm the type of guy like, yeah, if somebody makes me money or whatever, and I'm defeated or whatever like that, I will bet against that person if it's the right matchup. This is me, because I'm not gonna be just blind and just like, okay, he's making me money, and it's just an auto bet, and then that one time I'm gonna lose money. So that's just me personally. But it's like Andrade, I'm undefeated in all her fights, but it's because I bet on her and I bet against her. Like her last fight against Dern, I had her plus money. That was a great bet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll get to my best bet. I'm gonna actually take both. Give me Joshua decision. Give me Joshua 6-10. Both are around plus 400. One hits, make 2 units. I think one's going to for sure hit. So I like both of those. That should do it for us, guys. Great stuff there in the chat. Everyone watching, like I said, if you guys could, please share the video. Helps a ton. Give us a like, comment down below. We'll definitely be back next week to recap this big-time fight. I'm sure there's a fight to talk about. And at the very least, I know we can talk about the unfortunate Ryan Garcia, because who knows what is going on with him.
He needs help. No, sir. On a serious note, he needs help.
That fight should not be happening. So we will for sure, guys, be back next week, same time, 7:30 Eastern time on Tuesday. Another episode, recap these fights. And there's got to be a fight we can talk about. I am certain. We will see you guys next week. As always, this was the main event on Talkin Hands. Peace, guys.